that I was like, man, if I could help small businesses, small owners, small entrepreneurs to use this tool correctly, then they wouldn't be spending so much time trying to like get off the ground.
Do you want to take ownership of your financial future? Have the freedom to do what you want, when you want, and with whom you want? Welcome to the top, the Take Ownership Podcast, the ultimate destination for Black people who want to learn how to build wealth through multifamily investing. We believe that multifamily investing is one of the most powerful wealth building tools available to our community. Through our podcast, we demystify the world of real estate investing and show you how to use multifamily properties to create long-term passive income streams and build equity. Each episode features expert guests, real-world case studies, and practical tips tailored to Black investors. Whether you're just starting out in real estate investing or you're a seasoned pro, you'll find valuable insights and actionable advice that can help you achieve your financial goals. Join us on the Take Ownership Podcast and start taking ownership of your financial future today.
All right, fam. Welcome back to the podcast. It's the Take Ownership Podcast, episode number 3. I'm DB. I'm here with my man, my ace bloom, Jerome.
What's good? What's good?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Can't complain, brother. Can't complain. It's a beautiful Thursday. How about you, man?
Man, the usual Thursdays, man. I mean, it's one more day and, the grind is almost over.
Take a break.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, fam, today we got a very special episode. As we kind of told you, the aim of this is to educate you about everything to deal with real estate. Primarily, Jerome and I, we deal with multifamily, but we deal with everything real estate as well. And today we have a very special guest coming with us, Isaiah. So instead of me butchering anything, I'm going to let Isaiah himself just give a good intro, just a quick intro about himself and what he does.
Thank you. So yeah, my name's Isaiah Hunter. I don't care if you know the full thing, it's fine. I'm not really in social media all that too much. But I try to stay knowledgeable about it because it's a very powerful tool. So I'm not actually going to be talking about real estate directly. What I do is more on the customer relationship management side, and I use a very powerful tool called Salesforce to manage all your contacts and to get the ball rolling so that you can focus on your main piece of work as a real estate agent. And so basically, I'm a senior Salesforce administrator. I've been doing it for almost like 5 years now, and I love it. I love the platform so much that I was like, man, if I could help small businesses, small owners, small entrepreneurs to use this tool correctly, then they wouldn't be spending so much time trying to like get off the ground, spending so much time, doing all the little legwork when, I mean, we're in the age of AI, computer automated things.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be doing all that no more.
I feel
for sure. Yeah, I met Isaiah at a networking event, and so many people wanted to meet him. So many people gravitated to him. By like 5 minutes in, I knew what he did because he had to explain it so many times. So
nice.
He's a real cool dude, man. So I appreciate you coming on with us, man.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, that was funny. I swear I repeated that. I repeated my pitch so many times. Yeah, you definitely knew what I did.
Listen, that's how you gotta do it, man. And I definitely appreciate you coming on. It's funny you mentioned, the whole social media stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I do one of the things that I do is Airbnb and Verbo, VRBO, that kind of stuff. So short-term rentals, right? And short-term rentals has been hit a little bit. It's not, it's not dying or anything, but it's been hit just like anything else, right? Once the market started changing a little bit. Right now, there's a lot more people out there. So I wouldn't use necessarily the word saturated. People keep saying saturated, but you have to be mindful, right? That if you're in a market, maybe the market used to have only 1 bedrooms, right? So now there's a whole bunch of 1 bedrooms, but maybe there are only 2-3 bedrooms, only 4. So when people say saturated, it's like saturated in which way? Is it all the 1 bedrooms or the 2 bedrooms or 3? So people kind of using that. But anyway, the reason I bring this up is because there's a guy on YouTube and Twitter. More recently, he put out some graphs showing like Airbnb crashing, right? And the data that he got, I don't know him, so I don't want to say that the data was botched, or it just wasn't a data that was giving you the entire picture. Let's just say, right? Because sometimes with social media, people, you gotta put a little bit of something so it wasn't the whole picture. And people were just going all crazy. And I'm sure his Twitter blew up and his video is blowing up right now. But it scared a lot of people who might want to jump in. But I'm here to tell you, I do it. I've been doing it for years. And the reality is it's a little tough in some places, but it's also great in other places. So if you think, I'm not here to promote short-term rental to anyone, but it is one of those things that we do as well. So if you're looking into it and you saw one of those social media things, don't run away because you saw that. Like, actually do your own due diligence, right?
Actually, I'm gonna talk about that a little bit. It's interesting because I follow a lot of I watch a lot of videos, follow a lot of trends, try to stay educated on some of these topics. And funny enough, you bring that up. So there's that saying that people say, no publicity is the worst kind. Even bad or good, that's always good publicity, So if people, like, let's say, for example, what's something recent coming out? Oh, the Spider-Man movie, right? So many reviews. People are like, oh, it's a good movie. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. Well, think about it. If you're a small creator, if you're someone that's, not doing much, you're the only person that puts out a video saying why not to watch the movie. You're probably going to get a whole bunch of people to your video because you're doing something that's off of the norm. You're doing something that's going to catch people's eyes because they're like, oh, every day I see it's a good movie. Let me go watch it. But people want to know what's bad about it, why I shouldn't go watch it. So I can attest to your fact, there are people out there that put things out there and skew, or not even so much skew, but just, kind of broaden the data so that it does kind of show you a certain aspect of it that you wouldn't see normally. So,
And it goes back to just real estate being so hyper local that you cannot paint it with a broad brush. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Isaiah, what I want to do is I want to sort of jump into it, ask you a few questions. You want to pick your brain, let some folks know about, what you do and, dig a little bit more into what it is that you do. So tell us a little bit more about, you, how you got started and where you are now.
Yeah. So, well, this might be a long story, but I'll try to keep it as short as I can. So I was originally in school for mechanical engineering. And it's always been my dream. I'm one of those kids where it's like I knew what I wanted from the age of like 4, 5 and just stuck with it,
listen, I'm going to cut you off. I am jealous.
Right.
There's like a million people out there who are jealous of you right now. There are people who get into their 50s and are like, oh, I want to be a mechanic.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I hear it all the time, but it's just funny. I don't know why. It's just I always knew, like, when I was younger, I didn't know the name of it. I was like, oh, yeah, I want to be a scientist. That's what I told my dad. And he was like, oh, well, what kind of scientist you want to be? I was like, I want to build things. He was like, oh, that's more like an engineer. I was like, okay, well, I want to be an engineer, And I always knew that's what I wanted. I wanted to build things. I wanted to work with stuff in my hands, make things. And that's what I was going to school for. It was great. But when I was in high school, I know when you get into building things, also plays a fact, especially with computers, you got to know the computer languages. So I got into C++, Python, Java, but I still went to school for mechanical engineering. Now, COVID hit, and I'm towards like middle of my years, and I got an offer at a military position in Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama, and it was a software developer position. I was like, I do some coding. It's not really aligned with mechanical engineering, but any knowledge is good knowledge for when I get into the workforce. It might help me along the way. So, and with the military too, they're stable.
Right.
I'll forever have something, probably be able to move up into a nice little position. But I went out there and something happened. My stuff didn't transfer over correctly. I wasn't supposed to be paying out of state fees, but they told me I had to, and it was just a whole mess. And I was like, you know what? I'm stuck out here. I can't go to school. We're stuck inside the houses. I need to find another kind of work because, I just don't like being at home not doing anything, especially since I just started my position in the military. I didn't even have my computer yet when they sent people home. So I'm not going to lie. I was getting paid to just sit there, really. I went to meetings, but it wasn't really much. But even the pay wasn't great because it was like an internship. So I was like $800 a month. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was really low. I was like, gosh, I can't do this.
But yeah, like you said, you went in for that kind of experience. So yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So that was the point. I knew it was going to be low pay, but I went from serving, and I served a lot. So went from like making 1,200 every month to 800. It was pretty bumped down. But I was like, I need to get another job and, just educate myself on something else. And so that's when I found Salesforce. And Salesforce is that CRM system that I was telling you about where these companies, really big companies, use them. Salesforce is one of the biggest CRM software right now. But they use this system to keep track of almost everything. If you are talking to a customer, if you have records, if you're trying to match properties with people, if you're trying to match records with people, with properties, and properties to constructions, to land, all that you do inside of Salesforce. And it makes it such an easy job to be able to link everything and define everything that is linked to it. You see what I'm saying? So I got me a little contracted job with that. It was horrible, but I learned a lot. It was a lot of grind I had to do to it because if I had those tasks that I had back then, it would probably take me like 5-10 minutes. But back then, it would take me 3 hours. I know my boss was upset. He was like, I don't know what's taking this man so
dragging it out.
Yeah, dragging it out. I was learning, I was educating myself while trying to do the job, which was pretty hard, but I wouldn't take it back for the world because it taught me a lot.
Yeah.
So
I like how you just in your journey, you had to pivot very quickly and make some critical decisions, which I feel is like a life lesson that like everyone eventually will have to go through, where you just have to make a quick pivot and try to find your lane. And that must have been an arduous task for you right there.
Yeah, it was. It's pretty hard because, like I said, I already knew what I wanted to be since I was a little kid. I was always interested in cars and planes and printers. I took apart my mom's vacuum, got in trouble. I got in trouble for taking everything apart. But I was also the kid they called upon when they needed to fix it. So I was like, it's a good thing I took it apart. Yeah. But at that moment, I knew like I couldn't just sit there and be doing anything or nothing and still push my life back a couple of years, without doing anything. So, and another thing happened that, was a very big part of my life. Well, I ended up, my girlfriend or fiance at the time ended up getting pregnant. So, I was like, change things real quick. I was like, well, I definitely need to bring in more income. So
make some decisions for sure, man.
Yeah. I had to real fast. But best decisions I ever made, because in that, I do still have that love for mechanical engineering, building things and stuff like that. But on the coding side, which I do understand, being inside of Salesforce, it made it a lot more easier to get in there, be able to play with things and understand things. Where now, after like 5 months, 6 months with that job, I was able to get another job that paid a lot more. And I was able to go running with that and figure out more things and learn a lot more. So, being able to work from home was a blessing. Being able to work from home still is a blessing, like I don't even have to go back to work. I'm here at my office all day, and I think if I had the choice, I probably would go back to, oh yeah, let me learn mechanical engineering, get that kind of job. But that won't be me for a while now, because getting to see my boys grow up every day, like they see my face every day, there's no, 9 hours I'm away and then they see me at the end of the day and I'm tired, they got to go to sleep. None of that. So I kind of like where I am with that.
So I know what CRM is, Jerome knows what CRM is. So for those who may not really be familiar with the whole concept, can you explain to them what a CRM is and why that might be beneficial to a real estate investor in general, or just anyone in real estate, really?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm gonna break this down probably like 3 different levels, because I was thinking about this myself. It's like there's so many people that listen to these podcasts. You never know what background they have. So I guess basically the basis or level 1 is kind of think of it like a file cabinet, right? And then every single time you meet a person, you write their name on a file. And then you have a form that you put in that file, and you just have some information that you want to keep about them, right? Okay. And so now you have another drawer in your file cabinet, and that's all your properties. So you got a file with your contacts, you got a file with your properties. Now you got a file with the jobs that they work at. And basically what Salesforce does, it connects all of those files with each other, so that if I pull out Jerome's name, I'm like, oh yeah, Jerome works for Google. Google likes this kind of product. Oh, okay, Google likes that product. Maybe I can contact Jerome and see if they're interested in this thing that I have. So I contact Jerome. Well, guess what? Salesforce is going to log that I called Jerome today. And let's say I shoot him an email because he was interested over the phone. Well, that email is also in Salesforce now. And Jerome's like, yeah, and my company really likes this, but it'll be my birthday soon. I'm like, okay, well, let me put his birthday in here. He's like, yeah, I really likes cats. And so, you might have a thing where you're like, hey, every day one of my contacts' birthdays come up. Let's shoot them a little email about their interests. And you can have like the section of interest. And so it'll add in cats, or it'll add in, like a picture of a cat in the background. And you can do all that automatically, where you can get this personal feeling with another person, feeling like, oh yeah, they keep in contact with me. Oh yeah, they're interested in what I'm interested in, or they remember everything about me, kind of thing, from a system where all the information pulls up right in front of you while you're on the phone with them, or when you're typing up an email. I'm not going to send Jerome an email if he clearly told me on the phone, yeah, I don't use my email that much. I rather get text messages, or I rather get phone calls. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can put that in there and I'll know that as soon as I pull them up, So that's kind of what Salesforce does in that layman's term. I guess we move on to level 2. It's basically a good way to implement some automations so that you can keep in contact with all of your contacts, properties, products. You can make as many different like categories as you want, And so basically connecting those things together, you can do it flawlessly. And there's so many automations that you can go through. You can even build your own automations using their own language called Apex, which is basically like kind of like Java. But
I remember.
Yeah. But that's I guess that's the best way I can explain it. A CRM system. So there are other ones, but I'm not gonna lie, I really love the Salesforce environment.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I know there are some few ones, especially that were sort of geared towards marketers that are getting popular now. Some people, you might even know the name, especially since you're in the field there. And then there's the others. There's like a whole bunch of them, right? Microsoft even has their own big one. Some smaller companies, Zoho, I think, a few that have their own. So in your opinion, or basically really not even opinion, your own expertise, what do you think will separate something like Salesforce from the others? And also, why do you think me as a real estate investor, why do I need it?
Yeah, for sure. So let's touch on the first one, which is what separates Salesforce from the other ones. Okay. So some of the other platforms, they're free. And I'm not going to lie, that's great if you're starting out and you need something real quick to put down some information. But be honest with you, Salesforce is so big, it's kind of hard not to use them because let's say you have a website, right? And you're using a smaller one that's, not that big, but it's free. Well, who can guarantee you that you can connect your website with that one kind of thing? You have to make sure that when you chose this, all of your other systems can connect and talk to it the same way that you can do that with Salesforce. And another reason why it's great for real estate agents to use it is because of that same fact. I've built out many that connect with Google Maps, realtor.com. What's the other one? The big one, Zillow. There we go. Zillow. Yeah. So you get all that information, all that data, because Salesforce is so big that they already know, oh, this is what people like to see inside of their CRM systems. They have a whole bunch of packages already built out specifically for Salesforce. Whereas those smaller ones, you would have to do that yourself. And it's definitely possible. But the amount of work you have to put in for that, that's where it's going to take some time. And even though Salesforce is, you have to pay for it, it's not that much. I mean, if you're a real estate agent and you're making commission off of like selling a property, I think it's like $40 out of your pocket a month if it's just you. If it's just you. Yeah. So it's based on people. So
but I know for Derek and I, investor relations are like key. That's pretty much king and queen in our business.
Yeah.
Would you say Salesforce will be more user friendly for the investors, or would it be more user friendly for us? No, well, the individuals we're trying to reach out to.
Okay. So which individuals do you mean that you're reaching out to? Do you mean like the
people that we're invested with, the limited partners, the people that's giving us their hard-earned money to invest with?
I'm actually glad you asked that because Salesforce has this functionality where it's actually really good for both of you guys. All right. So let's say you're using it as a user and you're keeping track of your information. Well, let's say these investors, they're like, hey, I want visibility on what's going on. Where's these properties? How are we doing? Well, you can give them access to that. You can give them limited access to only see the things that are associated with them. Right. So you create them as a contract, you create them a little profile, and you build out this like, I think they call it a page. They call it it's page, but something else. CBS. Man, I had it on the tip of my tongue too. I just work on it for work too. But you build out a page for them. And so they're limited to see the data, the information, the stuff that you want them to see. And another really strong part about Salesforce is that you can build out all of these dashboards, reports, with all of your information. Salesforce owns Tableau, and Tableau, again, one of the big data visualization software. So yeah, if you want them to see all that, if you want to keep them informed and they can just go on there anytime they want to see how things are progressing, you can make that possible. So to answer your question, it's great for both of you guys.
Yeah, that's definitely something to look into because like Jerome said, one, the communication, right? Being able to send emails when you need to. Mass emails is good, personalized emails, informational emails about what's going on with a property that we just bought together, information about, hey, next month your check is coming in, right? Or your check is delayed, or your check is going to be more than we expected it to be, like, that communication. And then of course letting them know what's going on with the property. Hey, it's coming out for the sale, next month, that kind of stuff. Like communication is paramount. It really makes a difference between operators who are going to succeed and those who are not, because something could be going wrong, but if you don't communicate that with someone, an investor, that's going to make a difference between them coming back with you and them saying, oh, I'm not messing with these folks at all. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
Exactly.
So
And
Um,
another thing, just to add,
mhm.
even in Salesforce, automated like monthly reports. You can just send that to their email every month. Make it so that they send the report.
I like that. Okay. All
I
right.
was
So,
gonna say, I know when we talked about this a couple weeks ago, how AI is just kind of the ability to maneuver AI now is just mind blowing. And when I got into this business, it was more like, pulling out the ledger, writing everything down. DB hit
Yeah.
me with some things in an artificial intelligence world. It's like, man, it's making it so seamless for individuals to scale their business. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it sure is. I don't think I do anything without talking to AI anymore.
that's so crazy now, isn't it?
Yeah.
So on that topic of AI and what Jerome is kind of talking about, so can you give us anything that is sort of coming up, any emerging technologies, basically with CRMs in general, even if it's not with Salesforce yet, that you are excited about?
Oh yeah, definitely. So, um, well, so AI is like, let's say it's not new, but it's booming right now. So getting knowledgeable about it has been one of the things I've been focused on lately. And one thing I'm excited about is, if you don't know, ChatGPT has this new, has a few things actually that are new, but one of them is that you can train it on your own data. So your own PDFs, your own information that you've gathered. So just like Jerome was saying, he was putting pencil to the ledger, he was writing out all this stuff. If you can get all that on your computer in like a PDF or just a file or, any kind of text document and feed that to ChatGPT, connect that with like not Zoho, connect that with man, it's I'm losing my words today. It does. Oh, Zapier. There we go.
Zapier? Okay,
Zapier.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. Yeah. Connect that with Zapier to send some information to Salesforce. This is one of the projects I've been playing with. Then it will find certain information in those documents and start creating those records for you. Like you don't have to sit there and start typing it up yourself anymore. Like that's
Right.
a big thing when people are moving from CRM system to another CRM system. Like I said, if you're using one of those cheaper, smaller industries or companies and they don't connect, or you can't find a way to cheaply find a way to move it over to now your larger one, well, you're going to have to sit there and start putting all that information yourself or pay someone to do it. And I used to be that guy, but
Yeah,
not anymore. That was, oh man, that was hard. I'm not gonna lie. It's tough. It's tough
yeah,
because you have risk of duplicates, you have risk of losing data, not being able to connect things. So that was that's a really big pain point. But if AI is able to do it sufficiently, um, efficiently, and without messing up, that's going to be your best option. That's what I love about AI right now. It's going to change the game when it comes to you maintaining all of your systems more so.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
There's a saying. I'm sorry, I know we're
No. Go on. Go on.
but there's a saying that someone said, and I loved it. It was like, I wouldn't be afraid of AI taking your job. I would be afraid of the person who knows how to use AI from taking your job.
Oh, I like that. I
Yeah.
I really like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was something we even talked about the other day. I think we were on the same conversation, Jerome. The fear that AI is going to take your job, but the reality is what AI is most likely going to do is not take the entire job, but maybe take out individual tasks, mundane tasks that you used to do within that specific job, right? So
Yeah.
I know we almost out of time, so I don't want to keep you here, but what I want to do is I want to ask you a quick question about just how tell the folks how they can get in touch with you, because I know you're doing a big out there. So how can folks get in touch with you?
Yeah, definitely. So I have a website. It's called mybluetrail.com. If you have any questions or need any kind of like information, I have a little form on there where you can just put in your information and send it to me. It sends directly to my email. I try to get back to almost everything that I get. So you could definitely go on there to try to reach me. In a few couple of days, I'll have a blog section where I'll just be posting information, probably 2 or 3 blogs a week. So
I like that.
yeah.
I like that a lot. Yeah.
Too cool.
Why Jerome? And the folks get in touch with you, man.
Avery and Ivory Capital.durable.co. Bookmark it. It's in the
It's
it's in the links.
there. I'll drop the link. For me, if you want to get in touch with me, it's hello@acobin.com. So you can just hit me up with an email, or you can just go to my website as well, which is also going to be dropped in there, acobin.capital.com. So listen, Isaiah, man, I really appreciate you coming through, man. I want to keep the conversation up, so this definitely is not going to be your last visit to us. We're gonna bring it back out and just dive
EP,
in
we got time for one more question.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely, man. Get in.
definitely.
All righty, Isaiah, got to end on this. It's the Take Ownership podcast. So we just want to know, what have you taken ownership of?
Yeah, no problem. Actually, one of the hardest things for me is it's it kind of sucks to say, but it's doing cold calls.
Okay.
And getting out there and just, constantly making the calls to contact with people. So I've been taking ownership by getting that done. I think this week alone, I've made 50 calls, and I wasn't doing anything, I think, Monday and Tuesday. So I just started Wednesday, and today's Thursday. Oh yeah. So about 25 each day.
Whoa.
So, and that's after work too.
Yeah, that's powerful, man. Listen, like,
rough.
cold calling is one of those skills that if you develop it well, you will never go hungry, as they say.
Yeah, for sure. I can see that.
Best deals are made on the cold calls. It's something that I've been trying to figure out how I'm going to go about incorporating that into my business, whether I'm going to have someone else do the cold calling for me. Have you read any books on cold calling, or you just sort of picked it up, or like maybe looked up ChatGPT and said, give me the best cold call?
Honestly, actually, the ChatGPT, yeah, I've had done that one, but I watch a lot of YouTube videos on cold calling, just what to say, how to connect with a customer. But not only that, my dad actually worked for a company called Primerica.
I know that company.
Yeah, he did that a lot, and he actually taught me how to speak in front of like people, groups. He made me do some of his meetings sometimes, so
Nice.
I'm very comfortable when it comes to talking on the phone, whether it's like big groups, stadiums, or just a office of people. So it kind of came naturally, but I still stay studied up on it.
Yeah, I know cold calling for me is, in the beginning, I'm just fumbling over my words, nervous, but then the more reps you do, the better you kind of get at it. So it's like it's one thing, it's a learned practice, a discipline for sure.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah.
I agree. Yeah, cool, man. Listen, man, definitely appreciate you coming through. This definitely is not gonna be the last. We only sort of touched the tip of this whole CRM business. I know it's big, right? Because if you want to get ahead, succeed, you could probably create some Google spreadsheets and write down a few names and have a few columns. Yes, email this person, don't email that person. But if you're looking to scale, looking to grow, that's going to get tired very quickly, especially in the kind of business we're in, where we're not just interacting with like 10 people. It's not like 10 customers and we're done, right?
Yeah.
We're interacting with literally hundreds of people.
Man,
definitely appreciate you coming through. If you have anything to shout out, definitely shout out, and hope to connect with you again.
Yeah, no problem. Don't really got any shout outs, just I guess for anybody listening, if you find the struggle of getting up every day to try to do it, just ask your future self, are you satisfied? That's all I gotta say.
I like that.
Love it.
All right. With that, folks, that's fam, that's number 3. As always, appreciate you sticking with us. D, my ace boon here, Jerome, and we're definitely grateful for our guests that are coming through here. Isaiah, really appreciate you coming through, man. All right, see you guys in the next episode.